During an American Airlines flight from Dallas to Los Angeles on February the 24th of 2021, New York woman Kelly Pichardo spat on a fellow passenger and attacked a member of the cabin crew. Pichardo was traveling first class with a female friend when a racial slur was allegedly used during their conversation. Another passenger took offense to the word and admonished the two women for using it. The 32-year-old Bronx resident proceeded to spit on the person, then became increasingly violent as other passengers began recording them. When a flight attendant attempted to defuse the situation, Pichardo shoved her back. The belligerent woman was detained by a security officer and the flight was diverted to Phoenix. Pichardo was sentenced to 4 months in jail and ordered to pay $9,000 to American Airlines in the incident's aftermath. She would remain on probation for an additional 36 months after her release. Number 9. Hassan Shabir. Hassan Shabir, a 27-year-old resident of Birmingham, England, wrote an angry note directed at an ambulance that was blocking his driveway in November of 2017. The note, written in all caps, was left under the emergency vehicle's windscreen wiper. News of the situation went viral online after the West Midlands Ambulance Service uploaded a picture of the letter on social media. The note read, "You may be saving lives, but don't park your van in a stupid place and block my drive." At the time Shabir left the critical epistle, paramedics were treating one of his neighbors who was suffering from severe internal bleeding and ended up dying 2 days later. Internet users rallied together to insult Shabir for his perceived insensitivity. The man apologized, saying he wished people could forgive him for his seemingly uncaring reaction to the ambulance's placement. Number 8. Kimberly Ong. 45-year-old Kimberly Ong lost her temper while driving on the wrong side of the road in Hawaii on September the 10th of 2014. A video of the road rage incident recorded by another motorist named Ryan Arakaki quickly went viral and prompted Ong to surrender herself to the authorities in the aftermath. The recording showed Ong driving erratically while swearing at other drivers. She then focused her anger towards Arakaki. She screamed at him for allegedly cutting her off, all while her son sat in the passenger's seat. Though Arakaki attempted to drive away, Ong followed behind him until he agreed to pull over, at which point she aggressively confronted him. Following the emergence of the video, Ong was arrested for unauthorized entry into a vehicle, to which she pleaded not guilty in 2015. The charges were eventually dismissed under the condition that Ong stay out of trouble for a period of 4 years. She was also ordered to undergo anger management therapy. Number 7. McDonald's Incident. In December of 2022, a 19-year-old Australian woman, whose name wasn't disclosed to the media, decided to cook her own burger at McDonald's. Following an argument with the cashier, the reasoning for the teen's hostile demeanor was unclear, although it was alleged she lost her patience after her meal took too long to arrive. She was recorded screaming at employees before climbing over the counter and preparing her own meal. After cooking a burger, the young woman walked towards the fridge and helped herself to a bottle of water as workers contacted the authorities. Before she was able to leave the kitchen area, the suspect was detained by responding Adelaide police officers. The young woman attempted to resist arrest by throwing the stolen beverage at law enforcement before finally being detained. The entire incident was recorded on video and later went viral on TikTok. Number 6. Katie Lee Pitchford. On June the 4th of 2019, 21-year-old Katie Lee Pitchford lost her temper during an argument with her boyfriend, Tyler Sweeney, at their home in Indian Harbor Beach, Florida. The altercation allegedly began over texts Sweeney had discovered on Pitchford's cell phone. After the argument was initiated, it quickly turned physical. Pitchford began hitting him with a brush as she berated him and scratched his face. As the violence escalated, she began choking Sweeney and squeezed his genitals until he bled. He later denied striking Pitchford back, claiming only to have attempted to dodge and block her attacks before he managed to call 911. Police arrested Pitchford, charging her with domestic battery. She denied the accusations, telling officers the altercation had been merely verbal. At the time, she was on probation for kicking a policeman in the face 2 years earlier. In the aftermath, Pitchford was forbidden from contacting her victim and would only be able to return to the residence to retrieve her belongings. Number 5. Rory Woods. On October the 12th of 2022, Rory Woods, released a swarm of bees at a police officer while protesting an ongoing eviction in Longmeadow, Massachusetts. Woods had become irate after pulling up to the scene on Memory Lane, where the police were serving the notice of eviction. Though she wasn't directly affected by the eviction, she'd driven from another county to participate in the protest. Woods had been driving an SUV with a trailer containing multiple beehives. She removed the lids and shook the hives toward the deputies, at which point both the officers, as well as bystanders, were stung. Woods then transported the hives from the trailer to the property's front door. One of the police officers who was allergic to bee stings had to be taken to the hospital. Woods was charged with disorderly conduct and 4 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Number 4. McDonalds Brawl. At about 3 a.m. on September the 10th of 2017, Texas woman Monique Hernandez McNeely was waiting to place an order at an Indianapolis McDonald's when she witnessed 2 women attempting to climb through the drive-through window. Hernandez McNeely immediately began recording the situation on her cell phone. The 2 women, whose identities weren't released, were arguing with the restaurant's manager over their order of McNuggets, claiming they'd paid for 10 but received only 4. The manager showed the rowdy clients their receipt and told them they'd have to get in the back of the line if they wanted more. Unhappy with the proposed solution, they began furiously honking their car horn before climbing through the window. The women charged at the manager while screaming insults at him. They eventually climbed back into their car and sped away. Hernandez McNeely's video caught a glimpse of the assailant's license plate number, which was subsequently sent to the police. In the aftermath, the incident drew comparisons to when, in 2010, a woman named Melody Duchesne had attacked a McDonald's cashier for refusing to sell her an order of McNuggets at 10:30 in the morning. Duchesne ended up being sentenced to 60 days in jail for assault. Number 3. Amanda Martinez. On November the 7th of 2021, 31-year-old Texas resident Amanda Martinez threw a container of hot soup at 24-year-old restaurant manager Janelle Broland after the plastic lid melted due to the dish's high temperature. In surveillance footage retrieved by police, Martinez was shown berating Broland about the issue. The latter told the intemperate woman she needed to either speak respectfully or leave the restaurant. Martinez then fully lost her temper, throwing the entire soup in Broland's face. The Sol de Jalisco manager said she felt as though she'd been pepper sprayed. By the time police arrived at the restaurant, Martinez and her male companion had driven away, and a warrant was issued for her arrest. Martinez faced a misdemeanor charge of assault causing bodily injury. Her trial was set to begin in September of 2022 but was postponed. If found guilty, she could face a year in prison plus $4,000 in fines. Number 2. Lauren Nahuminti. On February the 15th of 2019, Englishwoman Lauren Nahuminti was arrested after losing a wallet filled with stolen checks and credit cards. Wareham police became involved when, on February the 6th, a local resident reported that he hadn't received a number of checks he'd been expecting, despite some of them having been cashed. 7 days later, officers were contacted by employees of a TJ Maxx store who'd found a wallet containing checks and credit cards with multiple different names, some of which reportedly belonged to the first victim. None of the other card holders were aware that their belongings had been stolen. Police were able to locate the owner of the wallet, 23-year-old Nahuminti. She was consequently charged with larceny, receiving stolen property, uttering a false check, and receiving a stolen credit card. Number 1. Samantha Wilson. Florida woman Samantha Wilson covered her ex-boyfriend, 31-year-old Brian Kuzma, in pork, fried rice, and red sauce during an argument on May the 24th of 2017. Wilson, also 31 at the time, had arrived at the Chinese restaurant where Kuzma was eating lunch to drop off their son. When she arrived, however, she and her ex began arguing after he denounced her for keeping the child out of school. When Kuzma asked her to leave, Wilson grabbed his lunch plate and tossed it at him, covering him in hot pork rice and red sauce from head to toe. The victim didn't require medical attention and declined to press charges against the woman. However, police decided to interview Wilson, who admitted to attacking Kuzma, but told officers she'd only done so to keep him from harming her, as he'd allegedly done in the past. She was subsequently arrested for battery and was forbidden from making any further contact with her ex. Thanks for watching. If a mugger allowed you to choose between giving him your wallet or your phone, what would you decide? Let us know in the comments section below.